This is it, the best part of your day and the best part of ours. Welcome to Inspired Sports, your place for clean sports talk with real inspiration. I'm Alex Pratt alongside the Scott Jakeway.
Alex, it is so good to be back. I have missed this right
We
here.
are so back.
We are so back. I love it. How are you doing?
I'm great. We enjoyed Thanksgiving off. I know you did a little more than
Oh,
me
yeah.
because your Dallas Cowboys did beat my Chiefs. I'm going to beat
Hey.
you to the punch. I'm not going to let you tell the audience first. Your Dallas Cowboys, America's team, beat
America's team.
my Chiefs, America's villains, on Thanksgiving, and thereby almost completely ruined my day. But I chose to remember the meaning of the day and embrace being with my wonderful wife and children, and tried to let the football go.
It was beautiful. To recap, we had a little bet that whoever's team won, the other person had to wear a jersey on the podcast.
No. This is a
Unfortunately,
lie. You are already making fake news.
what?
Never once was the word wear
Oh,
included.
come on.
Hang.
I'm
Hang. That's our thing. We
oof.
hang jerseys. Never once did we say wear. I'm going to need to see or hear the footage or the tape to actually put on my body whatever disgusting jersey you have acquired.
I will rewind the tape and we will go to an official review because I'm pretty sure it was where on the podcast. It unfortunately got delayed a little bit in transit. So it didn't get to you today,
Wait a
but
minute.
it is
Did you
on
cheap
the
out
way.
and not pay for like fast shipping? You took slow
Uh,
shipping?
No,
Wow, Scott.
full transparency, I thought I had it shipped to your house, and I had it shipped to my house. So, it arrives tomorrow, and then it's getting back into the mail truck to your house,
That
so
that little fact is very comforting to me. There's at least one little nugget of goodness in the whole experience, which is
Yeah,
that you shipped it to your house and now you have to pay to ship it to mine.
ship
That's
it twice,
fantastic.
baby.
FedEx loves you.
FedEx is my best friend. Yep, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So I actually have the jerseys hanging behind me at the moment from the two starting quarterbacks from Thursday Night Football. So
I love it.
I think it's time to jump right into our
Alright,
trademark
let's do it.
segment. Did that just happen? And I have a question for you, Scotty Jakeway. Did that
Okay.
just happen? Did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just lose to the Falcons and the Zebras because the officiating was awful?
All I can say is anytime that I get to watch a team that
Oh,
you
man.
are fangirling over,
Okay,
you've
there's
got
only
the
2.
Baker
Hold on. There's
love.
only 2. Yes, I am a
It
ride or die Baker Mayfield fan, but my
Uh-huh,
team is the
uh-huh.
Chiefs. And
So,
let's just clarify, I'm not over here just flip-flopping around like some people who are Cardinals fans for 10 seconds.
listen, you had here's the thing, I got to watch my Dallas Cowboys beat your Patrick Mahomes, and now tonight I gotta watch the Falcons beat your Baker Mayfield, and it's been so fun to watch. It's, like, rejuvenated my love for football. It was a thing of beauty, last second field goal. What I love Here's the thing I love about sports. You have a team that is statistically eliminated from playoffs. You would think that they have nothing to play for, and these are my favorite because now they have a brand new sense of life, and all they're doing is, "Let's just see how many teams playoffs we can run. We're already out of it, so let's just see what we can do." It happens every year. It's a thing of beauty.
I
Uh,
like your
uh,
premise. I like your
yeah.
premise of, "Hey, we're still fighting till the end. We have, honor and, like, pride, and we're just gonna fight through even if we're eliminated from the playoffs." But that's not what happened tonight. What happened tonight is old Kirk Cousins decided to turn back the clock and start slinging the ball around to Kyle Pitts, who
Yeah.
had a career night. Kyle Pitts was the first tight end to have over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game since 1996. It has been
Wow.
30 seasons since that happened, and it was
Wow.
done by the Shannon Sharp. So, I'm just
Woo.
saying it was so unexpected. that Kirk
Mhm.
Cousins was going to out he's not played particularly well since Michael Penix went down. Just come
No.
out on Thursday night and look like the guy that they intended to pay $180 million to start for their team. But shout out to Kirk Cousins because he is my wife's favorite quarterback. I don't know if I've told you this before, but my I know you know my wife, obviously, friends for a long time, and I know you know that my wife isn't that big of a sports fan or a football fan, but she watched the Netflix quarterback series, and
Oh, yeah.
Cousins turns out to be like an incredible man who's a great dad, an awesome husband, and loves Jesus, and like is singing worship songs to his kids as they go to bed. And so I'm literally tonight, Scott, I'm watching Thursday Night Football, and my wife walks in and she's like, "Oh, Kirk Cousins is playing." And I'm like, babe, I am pro Kirk Cousins, but this is a
Uh,
Baker Mayfield house, okay?" And
listen.
she's just all in, like, just happy for Kirk Cousins. I mean, she's just like, "Oh, well, look at that. Oh, Kirk Cousins just over there throwing touchdowns. Oh, he threw another one. Oh, he threw
Oh,
another." I'm like,
good.
"That listen, babe, I'm gonna get enough of this from Scott if the Bucks lose. I don't need you rooting for Kirk Cousins right now." But there was
You
no
know
stopping it.
You know what I think actually happened? I think Kirk Cousins heard the news that the, one of his good old-time buddies was coming back to the league, and he's like, "I'm not letting him get all the old man glory." So he had to come out and prove himself. I feel like, he was like, "I'm gonna show him up before he can even play a game, I'm gonna be the old man
Well,
conversation around here."
before we jump right into who you're alluding to, I gotta get one more thought out here because I
Okay.
made fun with the "Did That Just Happen" of whether the Bucks just beat the Falcons and the Zebras, and what I mean is the referees, because I thought the
Ah.
officiating was awful, and I listen, no one wants to hear me rant about officiating, I usually choose not to, but there were multiple plays that were awful. Zion McCollum got called for offsides, he was clearly back into his position before the ball was snapped on, and they were going to kick a field goal because of it. And instead, they end up scoring a touchdown on the next play. So that's an extra 4 points there for Atlanta that they should not have had. Kyle Pitts lands out of bounds with his elbow, and the refs have like a 10-minute it wasn't 10 minutes. They had like a legitimate 20-second conversation. And Jake, I don't know if you saw that touchdown. When the ref finally decided to raise his arms, he's so sheepish about it. He's
He's like,
so afraid. He's like, he literally it looks like slow motion, but it's not. And he's like, touchdown. It looks like he's
like,
asking the question.
maybe, maybe,
Maybe. And then
maybe
they're like,
kind of.
just call it a touchdown so it can go straight to review. But the problem with the referees always doing that is that it gives the advantage to whatever the play that was called, that's going to be, if it's not conclusive, the way it's going to go. And that's what they end up
Yeah.
saying. And then the rules analyst comes on and he says himself, if you can't tell there whether his backside or his elbow touched first, and his elbow's out of bounds, then it's supposed to be out of bounds. And then they end up not doing that because they say it's not conclusive. And so it just ends up looking very messy. And I'd like to say for a second, I love the rules analysts on all the broadcasts. I actually occasionally they do say something I'm not thinking of or paying attention to. But also, man, I need them to have some courage. I need them to have some guts because they say stuff kind of half-hearted too, and they're like, well, I see how the referees got there. It's not exactly what I would have called, but I can understand in the moment with the game moving at the speed. No, is the call right or is the call wrong? But we all know the rules analysts are paid by the broadcasting company that has a multi-billion-dollar contract with the NFL. And so there's a job security moment that they're having where they don't want to rant. But one of my favorite moments of the whole season, Scott, and listen, I'll get out of the way here, but I know you love this moment too, was early in the season. Tom Brady's on the call, and Tom Brady starts calling the Eagles for jumping off sides during the tush push. And
Yep.
the rules analyst comes on. I can't remember which one it was, so I don't want to say. But he comes on and he goes, "I'm done with this play." And I was like, "Thank you. Finally,
Yes.
a rules
Yes.
analyst who's just gonna I don't even care anymore. I'm done." And I wish I had more of that, obviously with a level of professionalism. So I just want them to step up and just say it and just go for it. And I also want both the Falcons and the Buccaneers to commit to these uniforms that they wore tonight. Because even though the Bucks seem to always lose when they wear the creamsicle, they look awesome. And the Falcons
My favorite.
with the red helmet and the little gold stripe if you're not paying attention, and the old school
Mhm.
Falcons logo. Both of them need to go back to that.
I completely there's one thing we can't agree on in this conversation over the last few minutes, and it is the uniforms. The creamsicle uniforms, my favorite. We've already mentioned that. I believe that was on the last episode. If you didn't check it out, check it out. And I mean, there's nothing more classic than the black with the red helmets.
Yep.
They're things of beauty, and I think teams need to really go back to like the old school jerseys
Most of them
because
are better. Most of them are
most
better.
most of the old school are better. Is a lot of this new school stuff, the newer stuff, it's all trendy, and I sound like an old man, but,
Yes, you do.
they we need to go back to the old school, the good stuff. So, I completely
Speaking
agree.
speaking of going back to the old school, Scotty Jakeway, I have another did that just happen for you.
Oh, okay.
And I think you know where I'm going already on this one.
Yes, I
Scotty
do.
Jakeway, did that just happen? Did the Colts discover the fountain of youth? Because for some reason, they decided to sign 44-year-old Phillip Rivers to their practice squad this week.
I don't hate the move, because here's the thing, you don't have any other option. You started the
Any other
seasons.
option? There are many other options.
No, here's the reason why. You were 7-1. Your season looked like a lock for the playoffs, and you have just completely unraveled these last several weeks,
Circling the
and
drain.
you are in dire emergency. You can't go out and just sign some mediocre third string practice squad quarterback. I think it's gonna be one of those things. At first, I was a little, like, take it back, like, Phillip Rivers? Didn't he just get a nomination for the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he did.
But here's why I love it. I looked up his stats his last year, which just so happened to be with the Colts, and I was looking through, like, through week 14, right, to be fair, where would his stats match up with, today's team? Like, how bad was he in his last couple years? The man was on fire,
Yeah,
and
he
if
played
you
well.
were to take his stats as a 39-year-old 5 years ago, he would be top 3 in completion percentage this year. He would be he would be the number 1, rated quarterback in passer yards, and he would be top 5 in TDs thrown. So, it's not like we're just I mean, I know the media is spinning it as like, "Oh, the Colts signed Grandpa Rivers." It's they had to go out and get the old man off the streets. No, this guy can still ball out, and I'm calling it now. Like,
I can feel a prediction coming.
if well, this is just one of those grandioso predictions. If he goes out there and plays this Sunday and wins the game, Disney Channel better be on the phone writing the most classic Disney movie of all time. I mean, like,
Watch out, remember the Titans.
if they thought Kurt Warner's story was a good story, feel good story, how about Phillip Rivers, who was a high school football coach, called up
Hold on.
to come
Don't
in?
you dare try to steal my thunder. I have
No,
one cool fact on this story, and you're trying to steal it right now, talking
no,
about him being a high
no.
school football coach. Phillip
All I'm
Rivers
saying,
is a high school football coach a minute and a half from my house. Literally, I can walk to the field where he coaches football. I have
yeah,
driven by and looked right at Phillip Rivers out there coaching football. Because let me tell you, when you put Phillip Rivers on a football field with a bunch of high school kids, you can
it's
definitely
true.
tell which one's Phillip Rivers.
Well, here's the thing. My point is this, and this is why I think it's going to be an actual. This isn't just a wash. They are actually bringing in someone that can actually compete because I am convinced Phillip Rivers has a Hall of Fame career. Look at his stats. There's no denying it's not a. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer,
Yes.
and he was literally just nominated like a month or two ago as a semifinalist into the Hall of Fame. And if he goes out there and plays on Sunday, he actually restarts the
Yeah.
clock on becoming a Hall of Famer. And if you're a Hall of Famer that's coaching high school football and you don't actually think that you can go ball, you're not going to restart the 5-year clock to be in the Hall of Fame. You've worked your entire career for it. So my thing is if Phillip Rivers is that confident that says, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll go out there and win you guys a couple games, take it to the playoffs. I'll get you in there and do what I've done for, the Chargers and the Colts all my career," and goes out there and balls out. Man, that is what you call full confidence in yourself, betting on yourself. Because if you just thought you were going to go out there and get smacked around, you're not going to restart the clock. So for me, it's a thing of beauty. I'm loving it.
I think it's a great story. Let it be known, okay, that the
Okay.
Inspired Sports Podcast is full for Phillip Rivers. We are rooting
Yes.
for him. He is a good dude, and he is here in my community where I live. He coaches high school football in a town next to mine called Fairhope. But I literally the football field where they play is literally a quarter mile from my house. I could walk there if I wanted to. He's a great guy. He's well known. He's got a great reputation in the community. We are full on rooting for Phillip Rivers, okay?
As 40-year-old men, I say,
See, that's
bring
it.
it on.
That's it. You said earlier what you love about it most, and immediately I thought, "Come on, Scott. What you love about it most is there'll be another person in the NFL older than you." So,
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
not just looking at Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco and probably some kicker we're not thinking of, but you're gonna be like, "Yeah, there's another guy older than me."
Can you imagine Philip Rivers coming in and just completely, like, crushing the next
Just
couple
balling it.
weeks?
Okay,
And Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers are going, "Hey, we're the old guys in town. What are we talking about here?"
it really made me think of this, and I'll make it super quick. But when I very first heard about it, I text my brother-in-law, who's a huge Colts fan. He's a listener to the podcast. His name is Shane. He's an incredible man. He just had his first baby, so shout
Hey,
out.
shout out.
We have a nickname for the baby. We call it Baby Butter. It's because his nickname is Butter. So shout out to Butter and his baby Butter. And so,
I
but I
love
wanted
it.
to say this. I sent him uh, a little meme that I'd actually someone had sent to me, and it said, "What are the if you had told Colts fans in 2021 that 5 years from now a former Colts quarterback was going to unretire and come back, they would all be chanting for Andrew Luck."
Andrew Luck.
And I'm like,
Andrew
"Oh
Luck.
man, no, Andrew the Giant ain't coming back, but Phillip Rivers is, man." And I really could
Uh,
see him saving the season. I want it to happen. I'm rooting full on for it. I hope
I
it
think it's a great
happens.
story.
I believe
Yeah.
in it, and Inspired Sports is cheering you on, Phillip Rivers. So,
Yes, sir.
but there's more happening in the NFL, and there's more things
Okay.
that
Yep.
I have to ask you, Scotty Jakeway. So, did
Okay.
that just happen? Did Shedeur Sanders just secure his spot as a franchise QB? Because the Cleveland Browns officially named him their starter for the rest of the season.
I think this is if I had to pick Philip Rivers or Shedeur Sanders, I'm picking Philip Rivers
You were gonna work for
every
okay. You worked
every
Phillip
day.
Rivers into the first "Did that just happen?" He was the star of the second "Did that just happen?" And you're leading him off and bringing him into the third "Did that just happen?" You got
I
a
that
Phillip Rivers addiction at the moment, my friend.
All I'm saying is I would pick him over Shedeur Sanders. He is not that guy. He looked good against the worst team in the league, but he looked mediocre against the 49ers. He's gonna get beat up against the Bills, the Steelers, the Bears. I mean, these next 3 weeks are going to be very, very telling for him. And I'll be one to admit, if he can come out, like, with 1 or 2 wins and some halfway decent stats against these next 3 teams, okay, maybe we can have that conversation. But you can't have like an amazing game against a JV team and be like, "I'm the man, I'm the guy." I mean, it's the Titans. What are we talking about here? You
In
didn't
which he
look that
lost
great.
that game. Technically, he
Yeah,
lost that game. The
he
game he won
lost
was
it.
against the Raiders.
I mean, okay, so you've got the Raiders and the Titans, and then you've got the Niners. He looked terrible against the Niners, in my opinion, and he's gonna look terrible against the next 3 games. So
Scott Jakeway, can you remind me where are the Raiders from?
East Mississippi Agricultural Community College.
I love it when you do that. I love it so much every time. He didn't know that was coming. I just had to see if he
No.
remembered the whole fake college he made up for them. That's
Yeah.
impressive. You did. Well done, my friend. Listen, it's very
Uh,
clear that the Cleveland Browns are not setting Shedeur Sanders up to be their franchise guy. They are
no.
setting him up to be their fall guy. He is
Yep.
about to go into a murderer's row of a schedule. He's coming off the easiest portion of the schedule and didn't look particularly great. Had some decent moments. I
Yeah.
think he can play football in this league. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I don't think we're going to
Yeah.
see a big leap in growth. And I don't think the Browns are really working them into their future. What they're trying to do is say, hey, look, we gave you, a third of a season and you just weren't it. And they're going to send him packing. The
Yep.
coaching staff there did not want him in the first place. That
Right.
seemed very clear from not drafting him any earlier than they did. And what seemed to be a mandate from the owner to go ahead and draft him in the fifth round. So honestly, for Shedeur, listen, good things typically happen when quarterbacks leave Cleveland. So maybe he'll get a chance somewhere else in a more healthy place. But I don't really think this is going to be his coming out. It's not going to be him blowing up. He's not going to all of a sudden, it's not going to be Shedeur time or whatever that thing is he does with his wrist when he lifts it up in the air. I don't know. But yeah, he starts pointing to his wrist for some reason. I'm sure it's out there as to why, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm genuinely rooting for the kid. I don't typically root against athletes in general, except for Joe Burrow. But we we definitely don't try to root against young athletes who are trying to make their way and trying to figure it out and trying to grow. But I don't think the Browns are setting him up for that. I think they're setting him up. They're tossing him in the deep end, for lack of a better phrase. So Shedeur, prove us all wrong. We're rooting for that, but I'm sorry, it doesn't seem like that is the most likely outcome.
No, let me make sure I take a step back. I really do hope that Shedeur Sanders lands somewhere. I'm not anti Shedeur Sanders. I'm anti hype, and that's for any quarterback. If the hype train is shout out reference to previous podcast Devo. If the hype train is leading you and you don't have what it takes, then that's what I'm against. And I feel like from the time he was in Colorado to the draft to this season, it's all just been a bunch of hype.
He's not that guy.
No, he is not that guy. But speaking of, let's transition to the next part of our segment, which is one of our favorites. It's actually, I went back and listened, Alex, to our very first podcast. It
Ooh,
is an OG
the
segment,
OG.
the OG for all of our first time listeners or newer listeners. This is a segment we have done for several years now. We can say that, but it's a little segment we like to call "Don't Be That Guy."
Don't be that guy.
So, Alex, to set up what this is we go through a lot of news, a lot of headlines, a lot of content leading up to the podcast, and there always seems to be one or two stories every once in a while where someone says or does something, and we're like, it's kind of like a head scratcher. And so, I would love to hear who is your "Don't Be That Guy" for this week.
My don't be that guy is Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. He was in a press conference this
Ooh.
week. Maybe it wasn't his day. Maybe he was just in a bad mood. But honestly, he was asked a pretty straightforward question. And I feel like he kind of got off the rails and ended up in don't be that guy territory. So when he
Mm,
was asked a question, and this is what the question was, he was asked if coming back from a serious injury has changed his competitive fire. And Joe Burrow replied with this: it certainly doesn't change my desire to win. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am
mm,
I doing it for? That's the mindset that I'm trying to bring to the table. And I'm like, listen, I know I'm a Chiefs fan, so it's fun for me to root against Cincinnati Bengals
wow.
and Joe Burrow because really they're the only ones that have knocked Patrick Mahomes out of the playoffs in a meaningful moment, and he ended up going to play on the Super Bowl. And so it's just kind of a fun rivalry. I have no general ill will toward Joe Burrow, but this to me seemed like a don't be that guy moment. It seemed like a moment in which and Joe Burrow has been through a lot injury history. We've talked about it: head, shoulders, knees, and toes. We've talked about all that he has faced, but come on, like, what am I doing this for? I don't know. The $200 million that the team is paying you to do it for? I don't know, the awesomeness of getting to wake up and play football every day. I know it's painful. I know there's injuries involved. I know it hurts,
Yeah.
but you're actually acting like it is agonizing to be a multi-millionaire quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. Are they run poorly? Yes. Are they dysfunctional as an organization? Probably. Are they probably a bottom 5 quality organization in the NFL? Definitely sometimes, maybe not every year. And so I get the frustration of wanting to achieve greatness and feeling like there's a ceiling on that. But when you start talking, and I know you're in a press conference and they're trying to get him to say stuff like this, but come on, man. I love it when athletes have this response, Jake, when they're like, "Man, I play football for a living. It's awesome. It hurts. I'm sore the next day." But you hear it, and honestly, the sport that really does it the best is actually baseball players. You often
Yep.
hear them, they'll use this phrase. It's like they get taught to say it. I play a kid's game. I make a
Yep.
living from playing a kid's game. It's awesome. Is it always easy? No. But Joe, guess what? Every single person at some point wakes up and has to go to work and they're not happy about it that day. There's something going on. They don't love it. They want a different job or they don't love the environment they're in. And so for you to stand up in a press conference and just be like, I've just been through so much. And if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. It's like, Joe, come on, man. You're painting a very odd picture for the rest of the world who's showing up, lacing up their work boots and going off to work and not playing a kid's game and not being paid hundreds of millions of dollars to do it. Granted, I'm also not being tackled by very large defensive linemen. But if the choice was given, I'll take a few hits from the defensive linemen to have the opportunity. And I know he's put a lot of work in to get there, but come on, Joe. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy, Joe. And shout out our first Don't Be That Guy, I just realized was his good old buddy Jamar Chase.
You remember that?
So
I do remember that.
full
The
circle that
first
we're
ever
bringing
inspired sports
yeah,
Don't Be That Guy was Jamar Chase. That is correct.
Jamar Chase. So, we're coming full circle with the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's my thing. It's screaming entitlement. It's screaming, a little bit of as out of touch, if you will. And so, yeah,
Agreed.
that's up the vein of Don't Be That Guy. But I've got another one for us,
Bring it.
real quick. My Don't Be That Guy is this. Cam Newton.
Oh, another
Don't be
quarterback who's not in the league?
Don't be that guy. Not to bring him back into another part of our segment, but shortly after Phillip Rivers was announced being signed by this was not planned, by the way, to everyone. This was absolutely not planned in the slightest. It just naturally happened. After Phillip Rivers was signed to a contract with the Indianapolis Colts, good old Cam Newton is on his podcast and he's asked, how does it make you feel? And he says, it's kind of a slap in my face that they didn't call me before they called Grandpa Rivers.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Cam Newton, you can't really be that guy. Don't be that guy because we're not talking about some third string quarterback that they just pulled out of obscurity. We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the man that has literally twice as many passing yards as you, literally twice as many thrown touchdowns as you, has a better completion percentage as you, and a passer rating. The man is not just some bum off the street. He is someone that ran circles around you as you guys played in the league together. And his last year in the league far exceeded any year that you had in
Yeah.
the league. You are a hype. This is again going back to the whole hype train thing. Cam Newton, talented quarterback, had a lot of really good seasons.
One great MVP season, but
One great
so
MVP
much
season,
inconsistency.
so many inconsistencies. And now he's just theatrical. And he even said on his podcast, part of it was, you know why they didn't sign me? They don't want a Shedeur scene. He literally said that. They don't want they don't want what's happening in Cleveland with Shedeur in their locker room. And Cam Newton, you're completely right. You are a clown, if you will, when you say something like this. And at the end of the day, all I have to say is, Cam Newton, cry me a river because you are not that guy. You are absolutely washed up. Bye-bye.
You
Don't be
know,
that guy.
that last year in New England was ugly. He was essentially a running
Rough.
back playing quarterback. He was running and I think he had like 8 passing touchdowns, something crazy
Yeah.
low for a guy who played all 16 games, and it just wasn't working. And you know what? Cam Newton had a very good career but he
Oh,
did not
yeah.
the career, it literally cannot compare to the career of Phillip Rivers. And yeah, I wouldn't want to bring in the circus that comes with Cam either. Like he's a successful podcaster, something that we're doing right now. He's been
Yeah.
very successful at, but you think that's going to fit well into a locker room? That's not going to fit well. It's going to turn into a
No.
circus and a media problem. And the Colts are looking for maturity and consistency and someone who will go out and execute the offense the way Shane Steichen wants him to. Someone who can actually complete
Yep.
more than 52% of his passes. So, Cam Newton, don't be that guy. But
Don't be that
please,
guy.
Cam Newton, keep wearing those sweet hats. Man, I wish I could pull off a hat like Cam Newton. That guy can any hat. He can walk into any hat, any store, any that has he just puts it on, it just works. So Cam Newton, keep wearing the hat, keep rocking the podcast, but don't pretend you're a better option than Phillip Rivers.
Exactly. I could have said that better.
But I have something even better for you, and that is what
Okay.
we do every Thursday. It is Trivia
Yeah.
Thursday, baby.
Let's
And I've
go.
got a good one for you. It's my
Okay.
turn to share the trivia question with you. So
All
just
right.
want you to just focus yourself and get ready. We've kind of restructured this a little bit where I'm going to ask you the question. If you know the answer, you know the
Okay.
answer. If you don't, I do have 2 hints lined up. If you don't know it at the end of the second hint, I am just going to tell you the answer because the people are
Okay.
waiting to hear. So let me ask you this, Scotty
Phillip
Jakeway.
Rivers.
You're just gonna try to fit him in. You're gonna force him in to every second. If Phillip Rivers is in your devotion, then we have to title the whole episode Phillip Rivers. Scott Jakeway, I have a good one for you. Okay,
Okay.
it's from the
Okay.
not too distant past.
Okay.
Okay, which quarterback holds the
Mm.
record for the most consecutive completions to start a game in NFL
Ooh.
history?
Ooh. Ah.
Which quarterback
Wow.
holds the record for the most consecutive completions to start a game in NFL history?
Okay, let's talk through this. Are they it's it's a household name? Let's just go with,
I no, you don't get to
hint
ask
1.
questions. This isn't
Let
20 questions. You don't get to ask.
I know.
Well, let me ask like
Listen.
6 questions here. I will give if you're
Okay.
ready for a hint, if you're ready to admit you
Yeah.
don't know, I will give you your
I
first hint.
I have, like, 2 or 3, so hit me with the hint so I can narrow it
Your
down.
first hint is the game in which it happened took place
Okay.
in 2018
Okay,
against the
18.
Cardinals.
Oh, of course it would. Alright.
Oh,
Okay. Wait, let me verify. Are they still in the league?
that
Is
is
that
the last hint. This
okay,
quarterback is still currently in the NFL. You actually that's
okay,
cool that you guessed the hint.
okay.
There you go. That's
Alright,
it. You're out of
so
hints.
okay.
You gotta give me your best shot here.
Um, okay, so it's against the Cardinals, so it's likely an NFC quarterback. Let's see, let's just go, Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is incorrect, my friend.
Ah,
You got another one?
okay.
I'll let you have one more if you just want to throw
Well,
one out. You said you had 2.
the first one that came to mind before the hint of the Cardinals was, Buffalo Bills legend. Uh, why am I blanking on his name?
Ryan
Jo
Fitzpatrick?
no, okay.
Before Josh
The
Allen?
no, it was
Oh,
Josh
Josh
Allen. I
Allen.
blanked on his name.
He's not a legend. He's the current quarterback. I mean, I guess he's kind of a legend.
Yeah, no, I was, Josh Allen was my other pick,
It is not
but
Josh Allen.
yeah,
No, I'm
after you said the
sorry.
Cardinals, I knew that wasn't the right name.
Would you like to know who it
So
is?
who it is?
It's Phillip Rivers.
No, stop it right now.
It's Phillip Rivers. San Diego Chargers against the Arizona Cardinals,
Oh.
2018. Phillip Rivers, who is still currently in the NFL, threw 25 consecutive completions in a
Oh.
game to start the game, and that is the NFL record. As a matter of fact, the 25th was a 4-yard touchdown pass to Keenan Allen.
I answered the question
before I
jokingly
asked it.
jokingly, and so I got in my own way because I
If you would have
suddenly
saved your joke until after I asked the question, you would have ruined
uh,
the whole segment, and I would have had to go, "Yes."
yeah, yes. Wow, that sucks.
And
No, wow.
we have successfully
Uh,
worked unintentionally, but quite hilariously worked Phillip Rivers into every single part of this podcast.
I would just like to say, Cam Newton, this is why they didn't give you a phone call because Phillip Rivers is able to do something like that later in his career. This is why the Indianapolis Colts called him.
That
So
is right. Future Hall of Famer, perhaps right around the corner if he doesn't come off that practice squad team, or perhaps in another 5 years. Either way,
yep,
that man is definitely walking into Canton. But
yep.
now it is time for us to walk into what makes us different than every other sports podcast out there. And that is that every episode of Inspired Sports closes with a biblical devotion, something that we think will encourage you, something we think that will inspire you, something that we hope speaks to you. And tonight, that devotion is coming from Scott Jake.
Thank you so much, Alex. So couple weeks, off. I had a little chance to think about what we wanted to talk about tonight, and as a high school coach of myself, kind of like Philip Rivers, you mentioned is the high school football coach in your city. I have recently taken on the task of being a football coach, basketball coach at my kids' school, and one thing that I am starting to learn is how important watching film is in at every level of sports. If you've ever sat in a real film room, the least I could say is it's humbling. Uh, game day is all hype. It's lights, it's adrenaline, it's the crowd, the noise, the big plays, the music. It's full of emotion, but game day is not film day. Why? Because film day is just a little bit different. It's quiet, it's slow. You're going through every step, every angle, every missed play, every busted assignment, being rewound over and over again, and you're exposing the gaps in every single play. In the film room, the truth literally shows up. Because before film day, you can come into that room and you can say all kinds of stories like, "Hey, coach, I had my guy the entire time." You could say like, "That big play wasn't my fault. It wasn't me." Or you could say something like, "I was going full speed, coach. I promise. I was there. I was giving it 100%." And then you hit play, and the eye in the sky tells it all and doesn't tell a single lie. There you are. You're taking every false step. You're going over every time that you jogged instead of sprinted. You're there peeking into the backfield and seeing where you left your man wide open. And there's nowhere to hide in the film room. Spiritually, God invites us into the film room in a very similar kind of way, but not just a projector and a clicker. It's in his presence and his word. Psalms 139 is like a prayer in the film room. It says this: "Search me, O God, and know my heart. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting." So I've titled tonight's devotion Film Room Honesty because, as Psalms 139 says, that's a dangerous prayer because most of us don't actually like seeing ourselves with that kind of honesty. We like to look at other people's film. We like to critique their mistakes. We like to say, like, "Hey, look at where they fell short." But to say, "Lord, roll the tape, show me where I'm missing or messing up," that takes real humility. The truth is, we're pretty good at explaining our sin away instead of confessing it. We say things like, "I had a bad day, God." You say, "You don't know what they did to me. You don't understand." Or you might say, "It's just the way I am." I've heard that so many times as a youth leader, as someone that's in ministry. I hear that all the time. It's just the way I am, Scott. You wouldn't understand. Those are all ways of saying, "Coach, it really wasn't my fault," when the film clearly shows that it was. First John 1 says, if we claim basically breaks down, if we claim we don't have sin, we're lying to ourselves. We can't be healed from what we won't admit. We can't be forgiven for what we refuse to bring into the light. The beauty of God's film room is this: He doesn't roll the film to humiliate you, He rolls the film to change you. A good coach doesn't show you your mistakes in the film room because he hates you. He shows you them because he sees the player you can be. He knows that if you'll own what's wrong, you can correct it. And if you correct it, you can grow from it. And if you grow from it, the exposure becomes your development. God is the exact same way, but with more love and more patience. He already knows every missed block, every blown coverage, every lazy step in your life. The cross proves he's not shocked by your failure. Jesus literally went to the cross knowing everything you did in advance. So when God shows you your sin, he's not discovering something new. He's inviting you into heaven's film room to get freedom for what he already paid for. So the question is, what does film room honesty with God really look like? It might be you sitting quietly in your secret, quiet place with the Lord and him saying, or you saying, Lord, show me where I've been selfish. Show me where pride has crept in. Show me where I'm saying one thing with my mouth, but living something completely different with my life. It might be you admitting, God, I've been blaming everyone else around me for my anger, for my distractions, but the problem is really me. Or I've excused this habit 1,000 times, but I know it's sin, and I'm tired of acting like it's no big deal. Or maybe I've been talking about faith, but my private life doesn't match my public words. And here is the promise. God's word says, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and righteous to forgive us of our sins and to cleanse us from all of our unrighteousness. You see, confession is not God rubbing your face in your mistakes. Confession is you stepping out of the shadows and into the light where grace is already waiting. Think about it how or think about how different our lives would look if we lived like that. Instead of pretending that we're just all good, we admit when we're not. Instead of hiding behind excuses, we say, God, I admit it. I blew it. Please forgive me. And can you help change me? And instead of defending ourselves in every conflict that we have, we ask, is there something in me that I need to own up to? That is real film room honesty. And it's not just about individual sins, it's also about patterns. Maybe God's showing you, hey, you're really patient with outsiders, but you're really harsh with your close friends and family. Or you look humble on the surface, but you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. Or you talk a lot about trusting me, but when pressure hits, you run straight to your own coping habits instead of me. In the moment, that kind of conviction stings. It hurts. Alex, we've both been there. I know it. I absolutely don't even have to ask if you've been there because I know as just talking with each other, keeping each other accountable through life over the last 20 years, we've been there. And conviction is not fun. It's like watching yourself completely whiff on film. You cringe, you wanna look away, you wanna just fast forward and skip this part. If you sit in it with God and you'll say, "Okay, God, I see it. I agree with it. I see where I messed up. I'm recognizing where I missed. I'm wrong. I'm gonna put in the effort to fix it. If you can just help me change." There's no more satisfying feeling as a coach than when a player says, "Hey, coach, can you help me fix this part of my game? Hey, can you help me figure out what I need to shift or change?" That's where transformation begins to happen in sports and in our faith. The Holy Spirit doesn't just point out what's wrong, He empowers you to live differently. He can give you the strength to bite your tongue instead of lashing out like you normally do. He can soften your heart to forgive those that you swore you would never forgive. Or He might be able to break addictions that you just kind of thought to yourself, that's just how I'm always going to be. But it first starts with honesty. So as you're listening or watching tonight, maybe God is already rolling some tape in your mind. Maybe you're thinking of a conversation, a habit, an attitude that you know doesn't honor Him. My challenge tonight is don't run from that. Don't try to explain it away and don't just say I'm going to deal with it later. Right where you are. Even if you're driving, maybe you're walking, listening to the podcast before practice or while you're at work, you can turn your heart toward Him and simply say, God, I see it. I'm wrong. Forgive me, change me, and lead me in a better way. God, the thing is God is not going to meet that prayer with condemnation. He's going to meet it with grace. And because that's simply who He is. The film room with God isn't a place of shame, it's a place of freedom. So the last thing I'll say is don't be afraid to let God roll the film in your life. Don't be afraid to see the truth because on the other side of that honesty is a cleaner heart, a freer soul, and a life that looks more like Jesus.
And Scott, thank you so much for a perfect reminder of what our life is supposed to look like, which is constantly growing and allowing the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit and God to guide us in the areas of our life that need to be cleaned up, need to be
Yeah.
sharpened. And I love that you mentioned those bold prayers that I should pray more often, and maybe all of
Yeah.
us should pray more often. God, show me where I'm being selfish. God, show me where I lack forgiveness. Show me what I need to do differently. So often we bring our requests to God, and that is wonderful and a part of prayer. But man, those things that you mentioned, Scott, those are powerful prayers, and the God will respond and He will
Yeah.
speak, and He'll do it, as you said, with grace and with love.
Amen.
And we hope that this has been a devotion that you have been inspired by, that
Yeah.
you have been encouraged by. I know that I have, and we're grateful that you took the time to listen to Inspired Sports, your place for clean sports talk with real inspiration.